Shalom everyone and Shavua Tov. Welcome to a weekly Zohar parasha. And we are today in this week starting Sunday till Shabbat. We are in Parashat Emor. Parashat Emor is in the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter 21, verse 1. And the first part of it is dealing with the Kohanim, the priest, the descendants of Aaron, the high priest. And it says, ויאמר אדוני אל משה אמור אל הכהנים בני אהרון ואמרת עליהם. This verse has a lot of explanation and study because it really connects us to the real true special connection of this week. And what does it mean? It twice says Vayomer, and he said, but in Hebrew, there is Vaydaber and there is Vayomer. Vaydaber, it's when you really give somebody a talk. Vayomer is when you talk to someone gently with love. And here to whom? It is said to the Kohanim. Who is the Kohen? Whoever learns Kabbalah knows that there's a system, a very important system, which is the three-column system. Right? The right column is chesed, loving, kindness, sharing. That's why you say you always start with the right foot, because you want to start something, start with a smile, with love, with positivity, with kindness. Then comes the left column, gevurah, which means judgment. It means also to overcome. And it means that you need also to learn how to take, not just how to give, and also to put boundaries. How do you balance between the two? This is the central column. In the Torah, this is symbolized by the three kinds of Israelites. Kohen, the priest, is a symbol for chesed. They are the children of Aaron, the high priest. Till today, the Levi, the Levites, that's the left column, judgment. It's also about excitement, about the fire of excitement. You need that too. And Israel is the central column. So you have Kohen on the right, Levi on the left, Israel on the center. Initials, Kli. Kohen, Levi, Israel, Kli. Kli means a vessel. A viable vessel that really has a life must have those three. Like in every atom, you have the plus, the protons, the minus, the electrons, and the neutrons, the central column that balance the whole thing. Same thing in every electric device. You have the plus, the minus, and you have a filament in between, the resistor. Central column, then you have a circuitry. As long as you have all three, you have it working. What's the problem with a regular human being? We are all born, when you learn Kabbalah, we are born as creatures of desire. How do I know I woke up in the morning? I already want something. What do I do next? I think, what do I want? Then I go for it. It's all about wanting and desiring. That's called the left column. What's the problem with the left column? What's the problem about the me? What's the problem about thinking good about myself? What's wrong about receiving pleasure just for myself? There's nothing wrong about it. We were built for that. We were created for that. The creator that wants to give us the good and the bliss, he created within us the desire to receive that good and this pleasure. However, if I want to connect to the creator's infinite light, I need to answer for the law of attraction. Similarities attract, which means when I'm connecting to the endless light, how do I connect to the endless light? I have to install chesed, loving kindness within. Without it, just taking is deadly. Just taking is the angel of death by itself, says the Zohar. So, months ago, when I was speaking about the coronavirus, and I was mentioning it from the books of the Kabbalists, from the Zohar, from the Talmud, from Rabbi Zechariah in the 16th century. It was all about one thing. The Talmud on Tractate Sanhedrin, page 98, was saying very clearly, two kinds of people in our generation, the bats and the roosters. What's the difference? The roosters and the bats, says the parable, are sitting there at night waiting for the sun to rise. And the rooster says to the bat, I know what I'm waiting for because the light is mine. Which means even though it's pitch dark, I know what's coming and I'm focusing on the light that is coming. And as long as I'm focusing on it, it's mine. Because what you're focusing on, that's what you become. While the bat, says the rooster to the bat, I don't know what you're waiting for. You can't stand the light. And what's the difference? The difference is like this. Two kinds of people in our generation. They are the ones that are the bats. What are the bats? On one hand, they just want for themselves because that's what they're built. They are missing one thing. They're missing the installation of chesed, loving kindness. And the moment you have only the left column, only the judgment, you want it all, you get it all, and you have a flash and a crash, like in electricity. When you don't have enough giving, the overwhelming light coming in and burns you up. And then you become eroded. You become bitter. You become a complainer. You become a victim. You blame the whole world instead of finding how can I give instead of how can I just receive. Now, how do we learn it? What do we learn from here? There's something amazing that the Zohar is saying, one of the most amazing sayings of the Zohar. And it says like this, I'm reading from the Zohar, Parashat Emor, from Perush HaSulam, second verse. Emor el HaKohanim bnei Aaron, say gently with love to the Kohanim, the children of Aaron. Ma atam hacha bnei Aaron? Why do we have to mention that the Kohanim are the children of Aaron? All the Jews who call themselves Kohen, they are related genetically to Aaron the high priest, so says the tradition. However, they were checked genetically the last few decades and found there are hundreds of thousands of them around the world, and they found out that 80% of them have the same Y chromosome genetically, which means that we know how the Y chromosome of Aaron the high priest looked like. Okay, there is a lineage between them, and that's why in every synagogue, the Kohanim are the ones who bless the people because they are the descendants of Aaron. But what's in it for us? We learned in previous parashot that when there is no temple, every person have to assume position to be his own priest in his own home and actions and place of work. Why? It says like this, because Aaron, says the Zohar, why it says that the Kohanim are the children of Aaron? What about people who are not descendants of Aaron? We don't know that these are the children of Aaron. And he says, the children of Aaron and not the children of Levi. Aaron was a Levite. So how come he became a Kohen? Says the Zohar. Aaron is the beginning of all the Kohanim. Because God wanted him more than others. Why would God want someone more than others? Isn't God the infinite light, infinite love? Doesn't he love everyone the same? And the answer is because Aaron, he was not chosen by God just because God said, who is going to be the Kohen? Oh, you. No, it doesn't work this way. Choice is something that is given only to us who are in a place of darkness and light. We can choose darkness, we can choose light. Can the light choose? No, because the light is only light. Now, think about it physically. Can a photon, a particle of light, a ray of light, see darkness? The answer is no. So, when we are talking about free will, it's only in a place of darkness and confusion. It's only in the realm of human beings. So, free will does not apply to the endless light of the Creator. Free will applies only to someone who has the ability to choose darkness. ובגין דארון אחוי סליק ולילאי. And the Zohar makes it even more clear. And since the ways of Aaron brought him to that place, so how we spoke about in Parashat Tazria, how does the Creator choose? That's not our choice. That's not the way we choose. The moment Aaron chose the way of loving and kindness unconditionally to every human being, and what is the way of loving and kindness? That's something that is very, very important. What's the difference between communism and the Torah? We just read last week, love others as you love yourself. And we know that the communist ideology was based on love others as you love yourself. But whoever learns history realizes that in the name of that love, so many people I don't know how many, I don't think that anybody knows, but between 100 to 200 million people were murdered by the communist regimes around the world in the name of love. How could that happen? Says Rabbi Ashlag. He wrote it in 1930 even, okay? But he says the moment the love is just logical, you can't do it. And here comes the important thing. Love is chesed. Chesed is love. What is chesed? Chesed is a holy energy that the person who wants to apply love, he has to understand that we don't have that light inside us. Whoever sees a light bulb, do you really think that the light bulb regenerates that light by itself? No, it has to draw that energy from the network. Same thing, we are like the light bulb. If we do not concentrate, meditate, believe, not believe, have faith and connection and training to bring the light of holiness from above, from the higher worlds, how can we really give love to others? You cannot give what you have to draw the holiness from above. And how do you see that? If you read the same chapter we just read in Parashat Emor, chapter 21. So we started, the topic goes from chapter 21, verse 1, and then it goes to chapter 23, verse 32. And it says, "Velo techalalu et shem kodshi," and do not desecrate my holy name, v'nikdashi betoch bnei Israel, and I will be sanctified. The word is like, it's very hard to translate. Betoch bnei Israel, within the children of Israel, ani Adonai mekadishchem. I'm God who makes you holy, which means it's holy to love another human being. It's holy to love the creation. But you cannot generate that holiness because holiness is a force. When a person is full with the force of light, the godly light, he is emitting that light and it feels like loving kindness shining outside. Look at it. The Zohar makes it really clear. Let's continue the next verse in the Zohar itself. And the Zohar says, Emor el Kohanim bnei Aaron, say to the Kohanim, the children of Aaron. And he says, Rabbi Yehuda patach, Rabbi Yehuda opened. Ma rav tuvcha shetzafanta lirecha. How great is your goodness that you hid for the people that have the awe of your greatness. That's in Psalms 31. And what does it mean? Says the Zohar, Kama hu elyon v'yakar or elyon hu. How precious and divine is that light. Shekatuv vayar Elokim et haor ki tov. Genesis chapter 1, just in the beginning. And God said, let there be light. There was no sun, no moon, no stars. There was nothing physical yet. So what light are we talking about? This is the light of holiness. Okay? And then it says, and God saw that the light was good. Vayar Elohim et haor ki tov. Vezeu haganuz. This is the hidden light, the treasured light. Shebo oseh HaKadosh Baruch Hu tov ba'olam. When there's something good happening, when we feel the real pleasure of goodness, this is the light. It's a derivative coming from the light of the creation on the first day. Ve'en moneh oto bechol yom. And nothing can stop the flow of that light daily. Why? Because this is endless. There's nothing that can stop the flow. So why don't I experience that light on every day? Because we live in a world of free will. And in order for that free will to exist, darkness had to be created. And whoever studies deeply Kabbalah, they took many, many, many stages to create that bubble of darkness. One dot of darkness that we humans live in that darkness. Why? Because we can't stand free gifts. So we need the darkness so we can say, let there be light. But how? How do you draw that light? It's called holiness. Kedusha. Kedusha means something separated from the world, but it's not separated because this guy is so holy. He lives in a cave all his life. According to the Bible, to the Torah, that's not holiness. Holiness is to live, to eat, to enjoy, to get married, to have children, to make money, to build a home, and to make everything, whatever you create, a vessel for the light to bring it down. So every time, says Rabbi Ashland, when you give to people love, caring, sharing, compassion, but you think it's a social need, you'll be empty. Because you're like the light bulb. You don't have it on your own. And you get empty. What happens when you get empty? You are full of darkness. And what happens when you're in darkness? You cannot give what you don't have. Only pain, fear, and that creates dictatorships. Because somebody thinks that I don't have enough, so I have to take everybody else's freedom, money, power, because I don't have enough. The moment you are fulfilled with the endless light of the Creator, you know there's enough. You don't need to rob anyone. You don't need to step on anyone. You don't have anxieties. You can overcome. So how do you overcome the bat-like consciousness? The consciousness of it's only darkness. It's only evil. Pessimism. Victim. It's all about despair because you failed and you can't, like the rooster, you can't focus on the light. That's a free will. In the middle of endless light, darkness. And as a human being, you have the ability to focus on holiness, on the holy, endless light of the creation. And when you bring it in and you share it outside, you have the flow and you become enlightened. Right now, we are in a very powerful stage of the history of humanity. We have to learn how to become that rooster, to even it's pitch dark, to have that faith, that focusedness, the certainty to bring in that light. How do you do it? Practically. First thing the Torah says, give to others. But I don't have enough. You have to tithe. What's tithing about? You have $100, give 10. You have 1,000, give 100. You have 1,000,000, give 100,000. That says the Creator, that's how you test my existence. Because when you give it with a consciousness that when I give it, I draw that holiness from above. You see that holiness penetrating into your body, into your possessions, into your money. And then every time everything becomes holy. How do you know it's holy? It's radiating. It's generating light, compassion, love. You have more patience to others. You have more health within. You're more balanced health wise, mentally, business like. Everything you are in the real zone. Not being in the zone like you are high, whoa, and then crash the morning after. Being in this zone, it's lasting, it's staying, and that's when you take from your own and you give it, but knowing that you're not giving from your pocket, you're pulling it from above. Humanity has to reach that place that we're here to pull that light from above. Now, how do we do it? Then the answer comes later. Later on, you have in Parashat Emor, the end of the parasha, it's all about the holidays. So again, the word holidays, it's English, but in Hebrew, it's called Mikra'ei Kodesh. The Torah calls the holidays Kodesh, no holidays, Mikra'ei Kodesh. What's Mikra'ei Kodesh? Translation, calling the holiness in. If you didn't get the beginning, now you get the later on. It's windows, gates in heaven that you draw in, Shabbat, holidays, and now comes the counting of the Omer. Counting of the Omer, we're in the middle. Parashat Emor is usually in the middle of the counting of the Omer. But that's counting of the Omer, I already explained. That's English. But in Hebrew, the word counting is Sephirah. And whoever knows some Kabbalah, there's no mistake. The word Sephirah has a connection with the word Sephirot, the emanations. We are in a place of learning freedom. We are this counting of the Omer, Sephirat Omer, is from the day of freedom of Passover. That was a gift. To the day of freedom of Shavuot, 50 days later, that now you acquire it because every day you're training yourself to bring in the illumination of the Omer. What's Omer? Omer, in Hebrew, it's again a game of words. Omer could be a pile of wheat, okay? A sheaf of wheat. But Omer Lavan, Naki, says the Kabbalist, is the bliss of the upper whiteness. The white, what is white? It's the color that includes all the colors. It's the upper white that we're counting, we're not counting, we're illuminating. We're just drawing that illumination. How? Every day it's another opportunity. So there is a concentration of 50 days between Passover and Shavuot. Till you come to Shavuot, you can achieve freedom, another level of freedom. What is freedom? So the Torah says freedom from death. The bat-like people, they're already dying. They're already surrendered to death. How do you know? The bat cannot stand light. The bad kind of people cannot stand excitement, cannot stand happiness, they cannot stand optimism, they cannot stand uh, positivity and innovation because it bothers them. Rabbi Ashlag said, what is that state of mind? That's despair. That's called old age, aging. Although there are people who are very old, the 90s, in their 90s, even 100 years old, and they're still full of hopelessness and excitement because they know how to connect to holiness, to bring their white light from above. This is the training that humanity has to go like. Immunity is being achieved by enlightenment. It is a must. So the more holy we become, the more immune we will become. Meanwhile, it's almost impossible, that's how it looks like, to find a vaccination for the coronavirus. Why? Because humanity, meanwhile, has to face it. You have to find the immunity from within. Not everybody that is exposed to the virus is getting sick. Like not everybody is exposed to all kinds of diseases is getting sick. If you are balanced from within, how? You bring in the light, you share the light, you install the chesed within, you give tithing to whoever needs, you give charity, the Zohar says, to whoever needs, to wherever around, and you give charity. It could be a smile, a good word, a good action, even doing your work with compassion, with loving kindness. Our job as humanity is to clean the dirt. Where is the dirt coming from? Says Rabbi Azakluria. When too much selfishness is accumulated, when we are training ourselves to create unconditional love, but we don't generate that love. We have to pull that love from above. We have to pull that positive energy from the endless light. There's enough for every human being because there's endless of it. So if I draw in half of it, how much is being left? All of it. So that's what our job. That's our job, and that's why the Zohar says it's all about charity. And charity again could be just listening to somebody with compassion, talking to somebody with simply awareness of love, unconditional love. That's how we learn to install the chesed within. And when we install the chesed within, we become the rooster, which means even though it's pitch dark, I know the sunrise is coming, so I don't care about how much darkness is around. I know, and therefore I create all the time because I know it's coming. So the moment we understand that, we can connect to that spiritual positive light, spiritual positive love, share it with the world, and that will become infectious because that's what humanity is looking for. That's the only way, says Rabbi Zachariah, we can cleanse and simply stop the plague. Also, that's why it says Lag BaOmer, the holiday of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. One of the reasons it was a holiday, because that's the day that the plague has been stopped. That was 2,000 years ago. But they didn't say it for nothing. There were many other things happened thousands of years ago. Why do they mention it? Because we have, during these 50 days, the ability to stop the plague. How? Install the chesed within. Thank you very much. With love from Jerusalem and health for everyone. So everyone who's sick should be healthy, and whoever is healthy should become even more healthy and stay healthy for long, long days of love, compassion, and success. Thank you so much from Jerusalem.